if you're someone who always keeps the peace and you notice maybe you have a fawning response, today we're going to talk about it and how to heal this response with EMDR therapy. Hi, I'm Emma Coble. I'm a licensed professional counselor who works with clients throughout Colorado and Florida. So, if this is you, you might feel like you are deeply empathetic, as most of my clients are, highly attuned to others' needs. You might anticipate others' needs before they even know their own needs. And you might oftentimes notice that you push your own needs or wants down in order to take care of others or do or provide for others. And you might also feel frustrated because, as many of my clients feel, you don't get this response back from anyone else. So you are often like the one who's reading the room, the glue that's holding the family together, the one that's putting in the effort in the relationships. And on the outside, people might love this about you, and it might be seen as a great quality you have. But on the inside, you are putting in all this work and all this labor, and it feels like you're not really getting anything back. And this can feel really, really exhausting. I sit across every day from so many brilliant, amazing women who are caught in this. Men as well, but we're going to talk more about this. Women are socialized to do this even more. This can cause just a bone deep fatigue that is not just something you can like take a bubble bath and get rid of. I'm here to tell you, you're not just like too nice or something. You're probably experiencing a fawn response, and there are ways to heal this. And the fawn response is often a result of trauma. So, the fawn response. Okay, so what is the fawn response? We often talk about the fight or flight response when we're talking about trauma, and when our nervous system is responding to something that it sees as threatening, it will oftentimes flee or fight or completely shut down. But another really common response to trauma is to fawn. So this is the act of abandoning your boundaries, needs, and your voice to appease someone else. Oftentimes, if we grew up in an environment where we were not seen, where our caregivers were unpredictable or critical or volatile, this was very, very adaptive for us to do. The way to make ourselves safe was to make ourselves small and accommodating to other people. This is a really brilliant, necessary survival strategy, and we might realize now that it's keeping us in the state of constant anxiety and hypervigilance and really not feeling like enough. And some of the physical tolls of this are we might feel this like tension all the time in our shoulders. We might feel like our nervous system is always just a little bit on edge, or we're constantly in the state of like chronic stress. Every time we're like swallowing how we feel, pushing it down, saying yes when we really mean no, our body is releasing cortisol and adrenaline. And this is very stressful to our bodies to do. So this is not just something that is like, oh, it's in our head. Like this actually has an effect on our bodies, including like our digestive system, our gut. Like we feel things, and serotonin lives in our gut. We might feel extremely fatigued, extremely tired. So one thing I do want to mention, and I touched on it briefly earlier, is that the fawn response is especially common in women because our patriarchal capitalist society really tells women, or sends us the message, that we should be small, that we shouldn't have needs, that we should be a good wife, mother, sister, friend above all else, and taking care of others above all else. And that's what gives us value as a woman. And our society benefits from women doing all of this emotional and physical labor to take care of other people. So when we are trying to set boundaries, we often get the message or feel like we're being selfish, because that's literally what, our society says and has told us for such a long time. Whereas men who set certain boundaries are often seen as, assertive, or that's seen as normal. So, doing this healing work is also a feminist act, I want to say. Um, and how do we do this? So the first thing is we start to see the fawning as just a part of us. It's not the entirety of who we are. We are not a fawner, but we have a fawning part, and that part has helped us. So we want to befriend this part and express gratitude for this part for helping us very likely throughout our lives. We're not trying to just get rid of this, because this part, again, it has helped. There might be times in the future where it could be a helpful response. We want to approach this with like curiosity and gratitude, and from a place of trying to help this part and reassure it that maybe it could relax a bit now. Another way we would want to come at this, or that I would approach this, is with EMDR therapy. So, oftentimes when we have a fawning part, we were taught, again, that it's bad to take up space. But with EMDR, we're allowing you to process through emotions and let your emotions take up space using bilateral stimulation. We target those core beliefs. Like, if I disappoint someone, I'm going to be abandoned, or I will be bad, or that makes me blameworthy or guilty if I have boundaries, or I'm only lovable if I'm useful. And we understand where those beliefs come from, and we lessen the emotional charge of those beliefs, and we help you recognize where they might be showing up in your everyday life. So I want to say that healing this is not a linear process, and it's something we do. We're healing your body through this. It's very deep work as we do this. So have patience with yourself if you are on this healing journey. One final kind of like question I kind of want to address is, sometimes people might say, like, what's the difference between just being like a nice person or an empathetic person and doing this people pleasing? And I would say that if you are doing something from a place of just like kindness or empathy, like, it feels really good and it actually feels nurturing for you. If you're doing it from a place of fawning or people pleasing, it feels draining and it feels exhausting. And I want to say that if this is something that when you do set boundaries, or when you refrain from people pleasing, you actually feel like sick or this is really hard, know that that's normal. That's a part of this journey. And sometimes I tell my clients that can actually be an indication that you are doing some major healing. Like, if you're finding you're pushing yourself a little bit, and that's a normal response for your body to have. And that if you feel that, like, give yourself a lot of patience and reassurance, and mix like pushing with gentleness, because this healing does not come from forcing. So if this is something that's interesting to you and you're wanting to heal the people pleaser, the fawner inside, reach out for a free consultation. I see clients again in Colorado and in Florida, and would love to chat with you. Thanks.